Welcome once again to the Damon Floyd Coach Show here on ESPN Cleveland 1013. I'm your host, Gary Ownbey. We open the season on the road with McMinn County. Our coach's show brought to you by the Chop Shop at 419 Paul Huff Parkway. So guys, you need your hair fixed. If you have hair unlike me, go up there and see those guys. They do a great job. Former Bradley folks run that place there. Our program's produced here at Studio H12 with Mr. Grenshaw and his AV folks. We appreciate that as well. And Coach Floyd, welcome to the show. It seems like, it goes by in a hurry, with blinking eye and the season's over, but then it takes a long time during summer to get back, and then it's here. It's here,
Yeah, a lot of work goes in, but it gets faster and faster every year. So I actually was telling the guys yesterday, because it is the first week of the season officially, and we've been practicing all summer, and it's like summer's already gone, and it seems like we just started. So it definitely goes by fast, and I hope our seniors realize that. Yeah,
because it's their last hurrah there. Has the heat? The heat's been brutal for everybody involved, and it ain't just hot for Bradley. It's hot for every other team in the state, of course. But how have you accommodated that? No, before school started, you were in the mornings doing the early things, and then you had to switch to after school. Has that impacted how you can practice or how long you practice? Or?
Oh yeah, the TWSAA has some guidelines that we have to go by, and obviously we follow those guidelines. But the heat there is no other way to put it other than it's miserable.
Yeah, I know.
I feel for those guys sometimes, but like you just said, everybody's dealing with it. So. We try to get an hour in, which the regulations say you can go out for an hour with 20 minutes of breaks with water and things like that. So yesterday we did our lifting, we did our film, we did an hour outside, and then we went inside to finish in the gym. So it's part of it. The kids got to get used to it because it's going to be hot the first couple Fridays of the year, and we try not to use it as an excuse. But as coaches, if we're being honest, there's things that we talk about throughout the day and throughout the week of, hey, let's make sure these guys are being well hydrated, and what's the practice schedule look like, and what can we do outside versus inside. So there's a lot of adapting to it day by day.
And game time, the officials who take control of playing or not playing in case of storms or whatever, they can take extra water breaks, and they will. We've seen that happen during the year. These early summer games, or late summer games, I guess, early season games there. But let's go back a while. You took over this job, it's your 21st season, which is incredible to think about. You were just a young guy in your mid-20s.
Yeah.
You had black hair.
Yeah.
And now here you are in your mid-40s, and you've seen your son go through the program and graduate. He's out there living an adult life now, and then Claire's a senior here.
Yep.
Looking back on that, what's the biggest change that you have seen? I mean, is it coaching, or is it the NIL transfer, or whatever? I mean, much has happened.
It's all those things you mentioned. The biggest change I see every day is when I look in the mirror and I see my gray hair. So, no, the game's changed a lot. It was sophisticated when I first took over, but the things that these high school players have to know, the knowledge of the game and schematically, it's so sophisticated that there's a lot to it, and I don't think people understand how good of coaches there are around the state. In our region, it's tough. I mean, if you're not lined up correctly, people are going to take advantage of it. But I think the biggest thing that's probably changed, at the end of the day, you got to run the football, you got to stop the run on defense. You can't turn the ball over, you can't have silly penalties, all the things you talk about as the cliches, but they're true. But the NIL, the transfer portal has definitely changed a lot of things. I don't guess it's called portal, but where you can get a one-time transfer has changed. And then I would say social media has obviously changed that. Everybody's got their own trainer now. Parents are a lot more, you've always had parents that are involved. I'm trying to think of the right word to say, but they're a lot more vocal, I guess.
Yeah, good term.
There's a lot of reasons not to come to practice day in, day out. So it's hard. It's just a lot harder to build a team, and because the things I believe high school football is about, it's about being selfless and being a great teammate and fighting for the guy next to you and those kind of things. And that's a little harder, if we're being honest. So, but there's still a lot of things I love about the game and being a high school coach, and the guys that are on the team, I wouldn't trade them for anybody. And we got a good group of guys that are working really hard to try to win some football games. So I'm excited about that.
Let's stay back in this throwback frame of mind right now. Your very first game that you coached here you were an assistant coach. You come into the program, had won one game the year before. I mean, we were down here waddling around in the muck or whatever you want to call it, and had several years like that. You came in, it took you a few years to get us into that groove where we won 14 out of 15, or been in the playoffs 14 out of 15 times since you got us in the playoffs. But going back to that first game, do you remember who it was and the outcome? And what was your emotion, your psyche? I mean, I would have been puking on the sidelines, I guess, so to speak, if I'd been you. But
yeah,
were you nervous? Tell me the truth.
I'm going to tell you the truth. That's what I was going to say. I would be lying if I sit here and told you I remembered everything.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, it's funny. As a player, you feel totally different as a coach.
Right.
As a coach, I am so much more nervous before every game because you're just worried, did I cover everything? Did we go over every detail? And then you get out the game and you realize, no, you didn't, because it's almost impossible, right? But I just remember being excited. You know, there's nothing like Friday nights.
Right.
And I think anybody that's been around any sport, and especially football, they'll tell you that. When the community comes together, I remember, and we've always had a huge following here at Bradley. Our side's always packed. But I remember it being, you know, maybe a little bit more crowded that first game than maybe the next couple games, and people seeing what it was going to be like. And, you know, like you mentioned, we hadn't had a lot of success. I think the year before, we only won one game the previous 2 years. So we were 0-10, 1-9. So I was definitely nervous, but, you know, it was a fun night. And now I'm starting to remember some things where Logan Watson caught a long touchdown pass, and Timmy Lynn and Chris Rogers were rotated quarterbacks. Some of those guys, Joel Moody ran the ball hard. So, yeah, I remember coming out with a win, which was awesome.
Yeah.
And you'd have thought, really, we'd won the Super Bowl.
Well, the taste of victories are really sweet compared to what we've gone through the last couple of years there. And I was looking back, and I didn't realize this, but when we win that first game, you know, it was just our first game. We were 1-0. First time we'd even been over 500 in 6 years, since 2000.
Yeah.
Which is hard to believe there. But, you know, another thing we've not even touched on is we got AstroTurf now on the field. I guess we're into our 5th year of that now. We
got AstroTurf. We got a video board. We got a weight room.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's been a lot of things changed throughout the 20 years. And, you know, obviously all those things benefit the program.
Well, and the thing I see that's your program too, you've been here 21 years and you've had a lot of coaches with you many, many years. A lot of them are former Bears. And I think the continuity of the staff there, look across town, they've had 7 head coaches since you've been the head of the Bears. Look on the north end, they've had 4 head coaches. And I think that continuity of you and your staff is a major factor in success you've had and kept the program. But you had to come in and rebuild the program. Like we were down here and you had kids didn't even want to play. Walking hallways, it should have been playing. Big old brutes.
I do remember our very first year, you know, nobody really wore Letterman's jackets then, not for the football team. And I remember us, you know, getting Letterman's jackets for the kids. And this is no lie. I remember that they didn't want to wear them in the school because they'd get made fun of.
Really?
And obviously now our guys have a lot of pride in that. So, you know, I was in my early 20s and I took things I still take them personal because it's like I've told people, this is my life, you know, and it has been for a long time. So. But I've been very fortunate. You talk about our coaches that's been here. I was going to hire any good coach, but I definitely there's a lot of Bradley guys out there that's been coaching, and I definitely wanted Bradley guys on this staff because we've talked about this before, and I've never been anywhere else, so I don't know if this is the right statement, but Bradley's different. This place is family. You take care of each other, and that's the guys I want on staff. Now, fortunately, but since I've been here long enough, we got quite a few guys that actually play here for me.
Right.
But then on top of that, I've been fortunate, very, very fortunate to have a lot of really good football players come through here while I'm coaching. So the timing's been good, you know, and I think for the most part, Bradley's kind of fits me. You know, it's just a good fit.
Yeah.
And doesn't mean you're going to win every game, but you know, I've had really good administration to work for. Football's important, and they put an emphasis on that, and they let me do my job for the most part, you know, and so there's got to be a lot of things that are working together and people working together for a program to succeed, and so I've been fortunate to been around a lot of good people.
Well, yeah, you really have, and you've added another Bear, former Bear, to the staff this year, haven't you?
Yeah, C.J. Dills played for me. Can't think of the year; they all run together for me now. But you know, he went and played at college. And was actually an All-American in college.
Right.
So he's a young guy, so he brings some intensity that we probably need. But CJ and, you know, his older brother Kobe's coached with us for years, and both of them played here. So really excited to have CJ, and I think he'll have a really good career in coaching.
And I think you having been a Bear, you played there, I think just means more to you, personal pride. You know, you wore the black and gold. You bleed black and gold now, as the old saying goes, and it's just something you want to continue with there. Our schedule this year is a flip-flop of last year. Same team, exactly same week, just playing opposite location, I guess we'd say.
Right.
and we're going to kick off McMinn County that. But you've had 2 Mr. Football Award winners. Talk about great players. You've had, I don't know how many All-State players, that there's too many to mention, but if you look on the bank out there, if you come in the stadium, if you look to the scoreboard side there in that horseshoe, you'll see every player listed on a big old poster there that shows you the year they won it, or were recognized in the Mr. Football. Plus we've had 2 others that didn't play for you, but they played and were nominated for Mr. Football and didn't win it. But
no, you had Blake Morris, who was nominated, but the other ones did play for me. Cole was a two-time. Copeland was 2-time finalist. Boo Carter and Austin Sanders both won it. And for years we had that. Obviously had that bank, and I'm not the smartest guy, but it took me 15 years to figure out. I've always thought, like, what can we put in the bank? What can we put in the bank? So I love seeing the All-State players that's played here, and then of course your Mr. Football finalists or award winners, fill that bank. So
I think they enjoy coming back. They come to games, say, "That's me up there." They got their kids with them now, whoever, or even their grandkids, because there's some of them really old timers up there on that board. Say, "Hey."
Well, I think our players look up there a lot, and they see that kind of thing. And people don't see this, but in our weight room we have a long list of players and their picture and their accomplishments. And it's guys that really worked hard in the weight room that had success on the field. So those kind of things, I want them to know the history and who some of the great players were. So maybe they can strive to. I think if you're a player, you're thinking, I want to be on that bank. I want to be in that weight room. So I think it means a lot.
Yeah. Well, we're going to take a break here, our first break on behalf of the Chop Shop there on Polo Parkway. When we come back, we're going to talk about our season opening game with McMinn County Cherokees on the road, our oldest rivalry in the second oldest state. We'll talk about all that when we come back here after a word from the Chop Shop.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like needing the experience of this trainer.
Good to go.
But getting that trainer.
Megan Trainer. I'm all about that brace, no trouble. Give me your arm.
No, it's not for that.
Who are you?
Patrick, I play football.
This is Patrick, everyone. Give it up for Patrick. He does sports.
So don't settle for just any insurance when there's State Farm.
Why is no one clapping?
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Welcome back to our Damon Floyd Show, our first one of the season here on ESPN Cleveland 113, brought to you by the Chop Shop. Appreciate their support of Practice Center Football. And Damon, we've talked McMinn ever since you've been here, and we've said everything can be said. We're going to say it again, I guess, in a lot of ways. But they are our oldest rivalry. We started playing in 1927. The only older rivalry is Midway and Rockwood, who started in 1924. And then before that, South Pittsburgh and Marion County, who got crossways with each other after COVID and decided not to play their biggest game of the year, their biggest money game of the year. So, unfortunate for them. But McMinn County, we're the target, and Bo Cagle, who's been there 20 years, 1 year less than you, he told us in media day, he said, we beat Bradley. Our season's complete, no matter what else happens. Now, he don't mean that, he's facetious when he says that, but it's huge. It's huge. Well, maybe he isn't completely honest, but it's huge for him. And I know you guys you don't call each other go out for lunch or nothing like that, I know, but you're friends, competitors, and very competitive. And he's as hard-headed, bullheaded as his grandpa Ace was, when it comes to coaching stuff like that. But what are your thoughts on this McMinn County game? Do our players understand how McMinn looks at us?
No, we've said this every year. If you ask our players who are our biggest rival, they don't say McMinn, but McMinn obviously looks at Bradley as their biggest rival. So it's something we try to remind them of. Yeah. I have clips throughout the 20 years that our players will see on Thursday in film that some statements that Bo's made about Bradley and how he hates us. And, he's made the statement that, if they go 1-9, as long as they beat Bradley, then they're okay. Yeah. And I think Bo means that. And me and Bo, we've had our issues. And I don't think it's any secret if you've been around either program, but I do have a lot of respect for him. And, we actually texted the other day joking about some things, but they don't like us. And the bottom line is, you get a chance on Friday night, and I hope our kids understand the rivalry, and because they're going to play hard. And Bo does a great job schematically. They're very good. They're not very sophisticated. Like, they do what they do, but they're very good at what they do. They've always been a physical team. That's if you hear him talk, his goal is to be the most physical team on Friday nights. Yeah. So they're very good. They play hard. They got a lot of pride in the program. So it's a fun game to open up with. I just don't think our kids quite understand how much they hate us. And they don't. It's not they don't like us. They hate us.
Yeah.
And, we were at Me Today the other day, and they
Yeah.
asked their players, what's the game you're looking for? And majority of them said Bradley.
Sure did.
And so we try to force that down our kids' throats over and over and over. But I don't know. You should be excited for the first game no matter who you play. When the ball kicks off, I don't know if you're really thinking McMinn County. You're just trying to compete. So hopefully we prepare them for that. And if not, it's a little too late because it's almost game time.
Well, they'll say you can't win the game, without winning the half, without winning the quarter, without winning the series, and you said over and over, it's three reasons you'd kick. One is for extra, one's for a kickoff, and one's for a punt. I guess that's the three. So all three of those are good things because it means you've not turned the ball over. It means you maybe have scored and so forth. But you've got one of the best long snappers in the state, Maddox Hampton, who will be playing college ball. He's just a junior, though.
Yeah. No, he's a senior.
He's senior this year? Okay.
Yep.
He'll be playing college ball this time next year for somebody somewhere at a big level there. But looking back at McMinn, though, they had this little Peanut, they called him last year. That was his nickname.
Well, he wasn't little. I think he was about 205, 210 pounds,
But
running back.
he was not tall.
Not tall, but he was
like a ramrod, But is he back this year or is he gone?
No, he was a senior, but they had another back that ended up coming in. I guess he got hurt later in the year and put up a whole lot of yards, so he'll be back this year. McMinn's quarterback, he's one of the best that we've faced over 21. It's just a lot of savvy, and I've told our kids this. He's not Patrick Mahomes, that's not what I'm saying, but he's Patrick Mahomes-ish. He throws at a whole lot of different arm angles. He's not the fastest, but he makes kids miss. He's a competitor. He's very accurate. And then on the flip side of that, they have 4 receivers that are back from last year. I'm sorry, 3 of the 4, but they've added another one that played a lot as a starter. But they run really good routes. They're tough kids, so they catch the ball. We got a lot of film on them from last year, and then we went to a couple of their scrimmages and just watched them in person. But I can honestly say I don't remember ever seeing on film where they've dropped a ball. Like I said, they're just tough, hard-nosed kids.
Yeah.
The quarterback puts it in the right spot. So we definitely have our hands full, and we've been focusing on that quarterback for quite a while, really all summer, and some of the things he does. But it'll be a very tough game Friday.
Well, do you think they're going to try to? Obviously, you said you want to run the ball if you can. You always like to run the ball, then pass when you have to, or will they have more of a running attack, I guess, than passing?
I think it depends on how the game goes.
Yeah.
But I think they'll try to stay as balanced as they can. Bo believes in running the ball first and stopping the run, like most coaches, but their quarterback can get you out of so much trouble. 3rd and 10's it's not really nothing for them, so they may try to run it at first couple downs and then let the quarterback bail them out. So. But the same with us. I feel like our offensive line is a strength for us, and we've got to be able to run the football. Feel good about Triple P, Peyton Parker Price, and Hezekiah Thomas, who's a freshman working in there at running back. And we have got to run the football no matter what game we play.
Right.
But the other thing is if we can run the football, then their quarterback's sitting on the sidelines.
True.
And so our best defense will keep him on the sidelines, and keep their defense on the field as much as possible. So that's the plan. I don't think it's any secret, but doing it, planning it and doing it, it's executing. It's 2 different things. So if we got to practice better than we did yesterday for some reason was one of our worst practices of the summer. So we've got to get better today and make sure we're executing on some things.
Well, you just got a couple more days there. On the Bears, now, we got 4 senior linemen on the offense, I believe.
We have 3 senior linemen. You got Nick Velez at left tackle, who's played a lot of football for us. Zach Denton's our left guard, who started last year. And then Briggs Yarber is our right tackle. And then our right guard is Damon Crenshaw, who's a sophomore, and then Riley Centers, his dad Nathan was a good running back here in the Bill Price area. His son's our starting center, and he's a sophomore. Okay.
And then with Tucker Cook back, you mentioned this. I thought it was a good comment in media day. He came in as a freshman when his brother got injured, like 6 plays into the season against McMinn.
Yep.
And then he came in last year when Tyler got hurt again, and you said in me today, this is his team now. He wants to take leadership. Say, hey, he's a junior.
Yeah.
He don't have to worry about beating out his brother for the spot. It's Tyler's team to lead. And the quarterback is the key position at any level of football. I don't care what level you're playing at. But has he accepted the challenge? Is he one of your? Who are your captains? Before I get past that, who are your captains?
Yeah, you got Nick Velez.
Okay.
Zach Denton, Javon James, who's a tight end for us, plays a little bit of everything, who's also a senior. And then you got Triple P, Peyton Parker Price, running back, senior, one of the fastest kids we've had here at Bradley. I mean, I'm telling you, like, he can run. He's got to get some open field. We got to get him in the open field. Then you got Tucker Cook. I feel like I'm missing one.
That's 5.
Tay Lindsay.
Tay
who's
Lindsay.
Also a senior.
Returning to back there.
Yep.
And you mentioned your wide receivers. You're deep at wide receiver, about 5 or 6 different guys there, some of which will play defensive backfield against too.
Yeah, our secondary will have to play receiver, and we've got to figure out exactly a good plan to keep them a little bit fresh, but they'll rotate for each other. Feel really good about them. They're just very inexperienced. Yeah. You know, they had good years last 2 years on JV, but it's different. And the intensity and the expectations and who they're playing, the opponents they're playing against. So that's why I said we got to rely on our offensive line early on. And I think those guys are going to make some plays, but they just not done it at a consistent level on a Friday night, so that worries you.
First thing I think you said to me today, or one of the very first things, we're short on depth and we're short on experience. And I look at your roster and you've got, I think I count 10 freshmen on the varsity roster. We
got 3 that I would consider starters with Hezekiah Thomas. He'll start at free safety and rotate at running back. Juice Sims, who starts at corner, who's very talented. You're going to know his name. His brother's actually committed to the University of Tennessee. He plays at Brentwood Academy. He's one of the top players in the nation. And then Hudson Robbins, who's a freshman who'll work some tight end for us. He's a very talented freshman. So those 3 guys right there, I consider all 3 of those starters for Friday night already.
Wow, that's a little unusual to have 3 at 6A level there. But I got sidetracked thinking when I thought of those captains, but going back to Tucker, you know, you mentioned this is his team now. He was there at the media day and along with Javon, and I think he's accepted that role, you know, and there's a lot on his back, you know.
Well, there is, and like I said, coming into the season, he knows it was his team from the get-go. The last 2 years, you know, all summer, it was his brother leading, and then he got kind of thrown in there. So I think the biggest thing for Tucker, number one, is he's got some experience. He knows our offense. But he's probably old enough now, age-wise. Like he just turned 16 2 weeks ago.
That's incredible.
He just started driving. So he was 14 and 15-year-old playing in 6A football. I don't care who you are. I mean, I know there's been some, but you better be very talented to do that and mature. And he just wasn't. And now he is. He's maturing. He's 16. He's ready. He's played for 2 years. So he's done a lot of good things for us. Is he going to make mistakes? Yes. But I don't think he has the fear of making a mistake now. He's one of the guys instead of just trying to, you know, fit in as a young guy. And I think that's a big difference. He's with his friends. So I guess I would think he feels less pressure. You know, as a 14-year-old freshman playing for a 17, 18-year-old senior, it's different than when you're playing with my buddy that I hang out with every Friday night. So expecting big things from him.
Well, I tell you what, it's going to be a fun game Friday night. I wish we were at home again. We've been here 2 years in a row. And you know what? They beat us 2 years in a row right here. Total
losses.
7 points.
Tough losses.
Games we could have, maybe should have won, but we didn't. And give them credit. You know, they did what they had to do to win it. So we'll see if we can flip the script here and take a win on the road on their place up there Friday night. So we'll sign off for now. I'd like to thank you for being here as always. We look forward to chatting with you every week. We'll have a game review next week and talk about that and our upcoming game, which will be with Walker Valley here at Bradley in 2 weeks. So until then, get ready for the the player interview coming up now here on ESPN Cleveland 101.3 and our football panel with Kickoff coming up at 7 o'clock. So don't go away. Until next time, God bless and go Bears.